Hello, guys. Happy Tuesday. We're back for another day of lessons in the second grade. I'm super excited to see you. It is my prayer that you had an amazing weekend. It was even a longer weekend. So you got an extra day and that the day was good to you. Miss Blaine enjoyed hers, and I hope you did as well. So we are back. Miss Blaine doesn't hope to hold you too long. We're going to go through and talk about some of the things you're going to see this week. So let's get started. Welcome to another fantastic day in Miss Plan's second grade. It is Tuesday, September the 8th. Some of you, I'm sure, today feel like the cat, and some of you may feel like the puppy. Either way, I'm glad you're here, and let's get started. Remember our virtual classroom rules. Some of these rules don't apply to you guys because you're home, but I always encourage you to find a school-like setting. I encourage you to stay in that spot until you finish. I encourage you to listen to everything that's said on our video, and I also always encourage you to have fun and do your best. I always like to know who's here. Remember, if you have something awesome you want to share with the class, but you aren't able to join us in Zoom, that if you'll get that information to me, I will be sure to share it. And roll call, of course, is our attendance check. Remember, at the end of the video, Ms. Bland shares with you what you can turn in order to be counted present for today. This week, Ms. Vester has a new social emotional objective for us, but they're not a new theme. Our theme last week was groups, and it's groups again this week. But we're going to talk about a different part of being a group. Today, we're going to talk about sharing. Sharing is something that we all have to do. Adults have to share, and even kids. So this week, we'll talk about sharing and how working in a group and sharing is important. Learning to share is hard for a lot of kids. I'm going to be honest with you, it's hard on some adults too, because it means giving something up. And sometimes it's easy to share if you have a whole bag of Halloween candy, but if you only have one candy bar, you really don't want to give any to anybody else. So that makes it a little difficult to do. When someone shares with you, they feel good because they're being considerate. And it's always important to be considerate. We're going to visit these questions tomorrow. What are some examples of some things that you share? Why do you think it's difficult to share? And why do you think it's important to share? So be thinking about those tonight. So tomorrow you'll be ready to write your answers. Remember, every kid at Bailey says our positive affirmations every day. I can do anything, I've got this, and I am smart. And Miss Bland truly believes that you're all three. Your new packet this week has a green cover. It should look like my page, except it's green. It might be lime green, or it might be kind of a regular green, but it's green. And as long as it has that giant number 4 on it, it's yours. Besides student name, please put your name. We want to make sure that these packets get back to Ms. Bland and that I know it's your work, so I don't have to give you a 0. For the number, don't worry about that. That helps Ms. Bland when she gets ready to file your papers, so that I can keep all your stuff together in case it ever comes up that you didn't do it. And I can always be able to put my hand on it and say that you did. Letterland this week only has 10 words. Since we were out of school on Monday, I thought it was important that we drop 2 of them off. And vocabulary has 8, and you'll see those in our story. We have 2 new stories for this week, Finding Cal and Not Norman, and we'll be working in Eureka Math for lessons 5 and 6. We're also going to talk about using that gumball machine this afternoon as we do some epic reading. So that'll come in a little handy, but we'll talk about that a little later. Oh, sorry. Also, for daily assignments, there will not be a daily assignment on Tuesday or Wednesday. We've got some friends that really need to catch up. So we're going to give them Tuesday and Wednesday to catch up with us, and then you will start Seesaw activities for Thursday, and then, of course, Friday's test. Letterland. Don't forget that we use Letterland as our review of sounds and letters. We want to make sure that we use those sounds and letters to be better writers, readers, and spellers.
Annie Apple says, ah. Bouncy Ben says, b. Clever Cat says, k. Dippy Duck says, d. Eddie Elephant says, eh. Firefighter Fred says, f. Golden Girl says, g. Harry Hatman says, h. Envy Ink says, eh. Jumping Jim says, j. Kicking King says, k. Lucy Lamplight says, Munching Mike says, Noisy Nick says, Oscar Orange says, ah. Peter Puppy says, p. Quarrelsome Queen says, qu. Red Robot says, Sammy Snake says, s. Talking Tess says Uppy Umbrella says Vicky Violet says Walter Walrus says Fix It Max says Yellow Yo-Yo Man says Zigzag Zebra says zzz.
Hopefully you remember those wonderful Letterland sounds. Today's assignment is to write your spelling words 3 times each in your notebook, and you have 10 new words to do just that. Bring, grass, sing. We're talking about that consonant blend at the beginning. Brr, grr. Smell and stiff have sm and st. Plants, drink, and cliff. As well as trunks and spend. You are to write the date up in the top corner. Today is 9.8.2020. And you are to skip lines as you write number 1, bring, bring, bring. Number 2 would be grass, grass, grass. Remember, Ms. Bland would love for you to be using 1 line by now to write these words. But if you still need 2 lines, that's okay, but no more than 2. We have got to bring our handwriting to a smaller size. We are in Reading Wonders, Unit 1, Week 3. Our essential question is, how can a pet be an important friend?
Pets are our friends. How can a pet be an important friend? We have relationships with our pets. Pets can be our friends. Some pets can play with us. We can watch other pets as they play. Spending time with pets can make us happy. Pets like spending time with us, too. We can show our pets how much their friendship means to us.
So being a part of our pets is a huge part of what we'll be doing this week. You have 8 new vocabulary words. Each word gives you a definition of how that word applies to our daily lives and the things that we choose to do. Let's look at those together. Oop, that's our story. Ms. Bland's clicking. My mouse is all over the place today. There we go. It's moving kind of slow, guys. Sorry about that. Okay, here we go. Now my mouse is not being cooperative. My mouse is dying. Okay. Decide. Decide is our first word. When you make a decision, you make a choice. Whatever it is you decide, you try to stick to it and you try to do it. So in this case, the girl has decided to have juice and cereal. The next word, different. The brown kitten is different from the orange kitten. You can be different by color. You can be different by height. You can be different. One is skinny, one is fat. There's all kinds of ways to be different. A friendship, the people you love hanging out with. You love doing stuff with them. You like to be around them. They're your friends. And together you make a friendship. Glance is to look at something quickly. He's looking over her shoulder to see what she's looking at. Proper, it is proper to wipe your mouth during a meal. It's proper to cover your mouth when you sneeze. It's proper these days to use hand sanitizer and a mask. It's proper not to get up out of your chair and put your feet in the chair when you're eating dinner. All those things are proper. It's the way we should live. A good relationship. Our teacher has a good relationship with our class. It means they get along well. You can laugh and joke together. You like being around each other. It's a good relationship. And stares. When you stare at somebody, you just keep looking and looking and looking and looking. And they probably say, why are you looking at me? But that's a stare. Trade. Don and Luis trade baseball cards. Most of the time these days, you guys choose to trade Pokemon cards, but it's the same thing. They have a card that you like, You have a card that they like and you switch. Those are our words for this week. You will see each of those words in your story in yellow boxes. So as we're going through the story, you will see those words. The genre for this week is fiction, which means it's a made-up story with made-up characters and events that have a beginning, a middle, and an end, and usually have a problem and a solution. And we're going to work on asking and answering questions like who, what, when, where, and why. The title of our story is Finding Cal. It is in your reading book on page 54. Follow along with me, please. Use your pointer finger to follow the text and read along.
Genre: fiction. Finding Cal. Essential question: how can a pet be an important friend? Read about a dog who becomes a boy's special friend.
Keep that in mind as you listen. That is our essential question for the week.
September 25th. Dear Diary, it took Dad a long time to decide. He finally made up his mind. Dad came to my room tonight. He said I could get a dog, but it has to be a small or medium-sized dog. We will go to the animal shelter tomorrow. Medium dog. Small dog.
So, first page of your packet should look like mine. It should have the study guide for our story. Two things Miss Bland wants you to do is every page that we come to that you see one of your vocabulary words in a yellow box, I ask that you write what page number you saw it on. So, for instance, we see the word decide on page 55. So beside the word decide, you would put a 55. This gives us the characteristics of a genre of a fiction. The characters and settings are made up. You might want to underline made up. It talks about the illustrations and dialogue. Illustrations, of course, are pictures, and dialogue means the characters talk. And there's a beginning, a middle, and the end. So looking at page 54, it says, how is this story written and how do you know? It's written like a, look at it. How's it written? It's not a regular story. It's got a date at the top and Dear Diary. I bet it's written like a diary entry. So we know that that would be a diary. So how is this story written? Like a diary. How do you know? It says Dear Diary and has the date. So that would be our answer for this question. Miss Bland's mouse is going crazy. It's written like a diary entry. How do we know? Because it has the date at the top and it says Dear Diary at the top. Pause here to write that in. Second question says, what important event happened on September 25th? Well, we know the important thing that happened on September 25th was what? Tell the person working with you. I hope you said Dad told the boy he could get a dog. That was huge. He told him he could get a dog. Pause here to copy that down. He told him he could have a dog. He'd been wanting one for a very long time, and he was super excited about finally getting one.
September 26th.
The next
Dear
day.
Diary, wow, there are so many different dogs at the shelter. There are big and little dogs. Some have soft fur, and some have wiry hair. Dad and I walked to one dog's cage. The tag said the dog's name was Cal. One quick glance at the cute dog, and I knew he was for me. Dad said, "Look, Jake, look at how Cal stares at you." It was true. His eyes were wide open. He was looking right at me. Jack, Spot, Sam, Cal.
So my question says, how did the boy know Cal was perfect for him? Well, the way he knew, because he was looking right at him. That would be my answer. I'd pause here to write it down.
We put Cal on a leash and took him to a fenced yard. Cal smiled and stared at me. Cal wanted to play. In minutes, he learned the proper or correct way to sit. He could walk on a leash nicely, too. I patted him on the head, and he licked my hand. Cal licking my hand.
The question at the bottom of your page says 2 supporting details that show us that Cal liked his new owner. This morning with the boys and girls, we talked about there were several things that showed us that Cal really liked being with Jake. So we talked about that Cal smiled. We didn't know dogs could smile this morning, but we thought that was cool. We talked about how he stared at him, how he just stood and looked at Jake. We talked about how Cal wanted to play. That was huge. We talked about he walked nicely on a leash. If you didn't like being there, then walking on a leash wouldn't be good. And that he licked Jake's hand. You only have 2 boxes, but Ms. Bland's giving you over 5 choices. Pause here and choose the 2 that you would like to put in the box on your paper. 2 choices. Put 1 in this box and 1 in this one. Pause here to complete. These are the 5 questions that you are to complete on your own about finding Cal. Be sure to use your text or this video going back to hear it read to you to complete those 5 questions. This is just a daily review that we're going to work on to make sure we're thinking of our grammar skills and keeping them sharp. We talked in the morning group about things sentences always have to have. Capital letters at the beginning, they're huge. So we know do should have a capital letter. We talked about, ooh, that's a very bad D. We talked about being able to put punctuation on the end of sentences. So we're going to read the sentence and say, do you like to drink milk? It's asking me a question. So I put a question mark. And then we notice that milk is spelled wrong. So we'd want to fix that. We talked about that when words end in ED, they are part of what has happened in the past. So for this question, you'll be looking for the words that end in ED. We decided not to do number 4 today. We'll readdress that later. And we're looking for the sentence that shows whether it's a command or an exclamation. We talked about a command tells me to do something, and an exclamation shows I'm excited. Look out for the snake. Which one do you think you would be doing? Would you be commanding someone, or would you be super excited when you said it? Make your choice and complete this page. Pause here to complete. The subject of a sentence. The subject of a sentence tells who or what the sentence is about. It is usually at the beginning of the sentence and comes before the verb or the action word. John likes to play football. John is your subject of the sentence. Likes is the verb. The dog chased the ball. The dog is the subject of the sentence. Chased is the verb. It's what I do, but it's about who my sentence is about. The kids rode a bus to the park. Who's the sentence about? The kids. What did they do? They rode a bus to the park. A girl fell off her bike. Who is the sentence about? A girl. What did she do? Fell off of her bike. Aiden ran into the swings. Who is the sentence about? Aiden. What did he do? Ran to the swings. Grace forgot to bring her lunch. Who is the sentence about? Grace. What did she do? Forgot to bring her lunch. Gabby ate a peanut butter sandwich. Who is the sentence about? Gabby. What did she do? Ate her peanut butter sandwich. You are to complete number 6 through 10 alone. Pause here to complete. All right, there was a short break and then it was time for math. For math, we are reviewing lesson 5. So the next page in your packet should look like mine. Ms. Bland wants you just to review breaking apart your 10. Remember to think of that number that makes my 10 and then complete the rest of the bond. So if I have a 6, I know to get to 10, I need 4 more. To get to 10, I need 4 more. 6 and 4 is 10. If I put 4 here, this is a 1. So this gives me 11 as my total. Same here. If I have 7, I know I need 3 more to get to 10. 7 plus 3 is 10. If I do 3 here, this is a 1. 10 plus 1 is still 11. For 8, if I have 8 and I need to get to 10, I need 2 more. If this is an 8, this has to be 6, 6, 7, 8 to make that bond true. And 10 plus 6 is 16. Those are my examples. You complete the entire page. Pause here to do. Here, Ms. Bland told the classes this morning that you guys can find the answers. If you want to do 9 plus 5 is 14 and then find the 10 fact that makes that 14, you're welcome to. And if it's easier for you to, sorry guys, if it's easier for you to do the break apart that we've been doing, you may choose to do that, but you should complete this page. For the math problems, they are extremely important that we review math problems, addition and subtraction, but the most important part is that we review word problems. They will follow you forever. So there were 15 juice boxes. I know I'm starting with 15. Some are going to get drunk, so that means we're going to subtract. They're going away. So here's my 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And there were 15. Some are going to get drunk, and then there's going to be 11 left. So there were 15. We're going to end up at 11. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I've got to lose 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that is 11. That is 11. My answer is 11. Please complete the other 3. Pause here to do so. This page, you're balancing out the sides of the equal sign. So 10 plus 4 is 14. So I need to know how many more I need. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I need 6 more for this side to be 14 too. If 10 plus 2 is 12, then I need to find out how many more I need to add to 9, 10, 11, 12. 3 more to get 12 on that side. Six plus 5 is 11. So I need 1 more for this side to be 11. Do that for this entire side. Pause here to complete. You did a great job today. Seesaw, of course, is a catch-up day, so you don't have to worry about that. Oh, just kidding. You have to worry about that. Be sure you check out the Bailey's Weebly page for specials, and make sure you complete your exit tickets each week. This afternoon, I will be talking a little bit about fluency, and I will be introducing EPIC. To turn in for attendance, please send me the story questions 1 through 5 or one of the completed math pages. That will be to suffice for today's attendance. Talk about a great job. You did a great one. Air hugs and kisses. I hope you have a great day, and I will see you tomorrow. If you need something, please let Ms. Bland know. Otherwise, have a great afternoon.